Oh. Hey there, Bob from Oregon's Constant Garden. Welcome to the OCG Fam Show to you, my YouTube buddies. What's going on? Let me know in the comments down there and we'll talk about it after the show. But right now, let's just get into the show. I want to talk to you about the feeding chart. If you use Nectar for the Gods, you probably ordered your Nectar for the Gods and you got the feeding chart with it. It tells you how to use it. Well, it tells you how to use it for cannabis. It's built around the life cycle of a cannabis plant, because that's mostly what this has been used for in the past, although it has certainly been used a lot for gardening of vegetables and that kind of thing, special for hot peppers, but even just regular garden to build a really amazing garden. But people have asked, how does the feeding chart fit in with if you're growing vegetables? What's the life cycle? How do you modify the chart to work for a vegetable garden that's obviously a lot less hungry and doesn't work exactly on the same kind of cycles? And so Scott and I talked a little bit about that in the last viewer questions episode, and I thought it was an interesting discussion and helpful if you're going to be growing vegetables with Nectar for the Gods. So I'd like you to watch it. I'll talk to you after. Use your products: Medusa's Magic, Herculean Harvest, Hercules, Gaia Mania, Zeus Juice for my tomato seedlings. Use your early veg ratios for the past few years, starting by seed in my basement under grow lights in soil about 8 weeks before bringing outside. Even at the early veg ratio, which is about 5 teaspoons per gallon on most of what I mentioned, I think the Gaia is 10 teaspoons per gallon. I noticed that I was burning my plants and under the side of the leaves were turning purple and showed signs of over-fertilizing. Do you recommend half strength? Plants were about 4 to 6 inches tall when I started adding fert. Now they are in the ground outside and I want to continue adding to your product once per week. How do I know when I'm in cycle of a tomato plant? If the plant is small, like 18 inches, and starts to show flowers or small fruit, is that considered late veg or early bloom? Would you like the plant to be 3 feet or more? So how I justify how much to add? Last year my tomatoes had minimal yield and stayed short. What is your opinion of when to switch to late veg and bloom? So first question is about when you're growing your seedlings into starts, and
yeah,
would you be feeding them at all?
Well, that's it. And so I've responded to his email with, send me a list of what you're growing and a list of the products you have, and we can kind of go through each one real quick and be like, this, and then, and whatever.
Okay.
He's not wrong, like we were talking about earlier in the show. If you're to take the mid-veg level on a 3-week-old seedling, because a lot of these plants grow small, especially indoors going out, that would be so much food that, you're going to see purple phosphorus toxicity because you've given them way too much phosphorus for this stage. Now, they should grow out of it. They should make it no problem. But
I'm thinking about when you see these cannabis plants that are 14 feet tall.
Well, and even that little guy, early veg, they can handle it because their root mass is so huge. Where, this broccoli root mass, even at this size, is only about that big. So it can't handle the food source. So, we've never really come up with a feeding schedule for run-of-the-mill garden plants. And I think what we'd find mostly would be a bar chart, basically, like broccoli, tomato, peas, blah, 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 and then across this way would be all the different nutrients. And you kind of come across and be like, broccoli at, when it first sets on a crown, how much should I be feeding it? And it's...
But do these veg and bloom cycles translate to...
They don't, because we're not on a waning light cycle. We're not past 12 and 12.
Yeah, they're pushing hard now. They get a flower and then they turn that into...
And they'll continue going all the way through August. So there's no early, mid, or late with a strawberry. It's called an autoflower. These are all autoflowering plants. So tomatoes, when they start setting fruit, they're just going to set fruit until they die. And same with peppers, strawberries. Broccoli is kind of a one and done. It puts out side shoots. So I kind of look at seasonally
a veg and a bloom
season
recipe. Do you have? Do you ever have a bloom phase to it, or do you just?
Yeah, about late July into August, everything should be setting on a vegetable, fruit, or a flower. Okay. And at that point, I'm no longer nitrogen dominant. I'm definitely going more phosphorus dominant. I'm looking for more of the bone meal, the Circes, the Aphrodite, the Megamorpheus, everything that's going to create to help more blooms and more flower bodies and fruiting bodies. I kind of steer towards the early to mid flowering stage from late July all through August into September.
This is Medusa Gaia, why there's Medusa and Gaia.
Yeah, Gaia, all end of summer, Medusa in the beginning of spring and summer. Okay. And it's really just getting them to grow so then they can produce fruit and be strong enough to then hold and maintain the fruit. Mm-hmm. I think the biggest, and he'll get an email back that, because he sent me every vegetable he's growing, nice. So it'll be, this is how I would do this, this, and this, feed me back, and we'll, start building these schedules together accordingly. Okay. But it is one where you aren't going to set this strawberry that it's a 14-week strawberry, because it's going to come back next year, so it's really a 240-week strain. Yeah. So we got to figure out how to make that work. It really comes down to the season it's in, how the flower and fruit production is looking, and then the overall plant look, and then what am I going to feed it today. So like today, well, I just fed all of these Pegasus potion this week, so probably this weekend I'm going to go hit these ones that have all these flowers on it. Those are too early for flowering. And I'm going to start hitting these with Herc, Circes, and maybe Gaia just to get that fruit to really start to swell, develop, and then hopefully put on more bricks and sugar. And I'll start brixing these. Once I see one of these actually get big, I'll start brixing these leaves to see what they're doing, and then I'll start adjusting feeds accordingly. This is nothing most home gardeners will ever do because it's a ridiculous waste of time and overthinking it. But to me, it's better than thinking about existential dread. Yeah, or talking to somebody in town. So I prefer this. The strawberries don't make me mad when I'm brixing. You're building treasures in heaven. Yeah, amen. I am. That's for sure.
Okay, what do you think? Informative, entertaining, helpful, agree, disagree? Let's talk about it in the comments. I love you. I'll see you tomorrow. The OCG Fam Show. It's pretty good. It happens every day. It's the OCG Fam Show. See you tomorrow.